What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Matt at the FF Mediators with the Faceoff Sports Network, and today we are back. We are diving into the first round of the NFL Draft. We're going to talk about some of these early picks and look into some fantasy implications for the early part of this 2025 NFL Draft. Coach, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
Man, I'm good. Guys, if you want to ask any questions, anybody wants to get on here and bring up a topic or anything you want to ask, just feel free, jump in there, ask away.
Yeah. If you're here, jump in the comments. We're just going to kind of roll through the NFL draft, talk about some players, some different rookies that we might see and where they could land and what it means for our fantasy teams and their implications on those rosters. So let's just jump straight into it, Coach. We're going to throw the board up here on the stage, kind of look at the first round just early here, Coach. We've got the Tennessee Titans with the first overall pick, followed by the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, the Patriots at 4, and the Jags at 5. So let's just start with this first pick here with the Tennessee Titans, Coach. I think we kind of all know what the pick is going to be. You've been saying it for a long time. I doubted it for a little bit, but what's your thoughts on this first pick?
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way around. I mean, the Titans need a lot of things, right, offensively, especially when it comes to skill position players, but they absolutely have to have a quarterback, and Cam Ward is the best. A lot of people say he's not the top prospect overall, obviously, but he's definitely the best quarterback. And to me, the one that's most worthy of going in the top 10. So they have to go with Cam Ward. His arm strength is elite. His vision. There are lots of things to like about Cam Ward. There are times when he's a little too arrogant, I guess you could say, in the pocket, and it costs him a little bit. He puts the ball in harm's way every now and then, but if you're an elite gunslinger, you're going to do that occasionally, especially at the college level. I would feel really good about this if I was the Titans.
Yeah, Cam Ward, he's one of those guys that every time you watch him, he just looks like he almost doesn't care when he's in the pocket. Like he just never feels the pressure, not in the sense that he doesn't know it's coming. He just is never scared. He just stands in the pocket, looks strong, delivers the ball fantastic. I'm really excited to see what he can be. I know you're a Miami fan, so you've watched an absolute ton of Cam Ward. But, you've kind of said it a lot. Everywhere he's gone, he's made his offense and his team immediately better. And that's tracked from Incarnate Ward to Washington State to now Miami. So we'll see what he can do with the Titans. But, Coach, let's talk about the fantasy implications there for a second. And, we were discussing before, what's this wide receiver room look like in Tennessee? It's not very good. I mean, they certainly have the 35th overall pick too, so they could add another player there, but that's their only real chance to add another impact player immediately in this NFL draft. Outside of that, he's dealing with Calvin Ridley and then Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears in the running back room. Do you think that he can survive and have any fantasy impact for this 2025 season?
Yeah, it's definitely gross. I do think the wide receivers like Calvin Ridley will be benefited by Cam Ward, that's for sure. But the rest of it is so gross that it's going to be a problem. There's no doubt. But there is a guy that we talked about in the Mediators a long time ago. There's a deep dive last year in Jaquan Jackson from Tulane, who's a really good athlete. He's a guy that, depending on what else they do in the draft, he's going to have to play. Cam Ward has the ability to make people better, although you got to be a little concerned about the weapons he would have to throw to.
Yeah, I think it's definitely concern. We're joined here by Mr. Hoff, the FF Realist. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I had to see how this Mets game was shaking out. Then I figured I would head on in here because I'll say this, though. You had hit me up and said you guys were going to talk about like those, first couple picks in the first round. And I will tell you that New York, where I'm at, is absolutely buzzing right now about, do they pass on a quarterback? I know, they have Jameis, that being the Giants. They have Jameis. They brought in Russell Wilson. Do they dare pass on Shedeur Sanders? That's a big talk of the town here right now. And it's going to be for the rest of the time here until the draft starts. So I had to pop in and see what's up.
Yeah, well, you mentioned his name, so let's talk about him a little bit. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. He's definitely a possible pick here at the 102 to the Browns and also the 103 to the Giants. He's been linked to the Giants for basically since the season ended or before the college season even ended, throwing with Malik Neighbors, wearing Giants colored cleats, saying that he wants to play for the Giants. And he's also talked about how the Browns are the only team that he uses on Madden. So does that mean anything? I don't know. But what we know is that he's probably a first round talent. Quarterbacks tend to get drafted higher than they might be worth. But there's some swirling news about do they pass on Shedeur Sanders, both of these teams. I mean, the Browns are in quarterback turmoil right now and lots of things to do. So, Coach, I'm going to kick it to you as our little quarterback guru in here. What's your thoughts on Shedeur? Do you think the Browns can pass on him? And if he falls to 3, do the Giants pass on him?
Well, the Browns are in a bind, right? I mean, the Deshaun Watson situation is a disaster for Cleveland. It feels like the only way they can get out from under it is to draft a rookie quarterback with a rookie contract. That doesn't mean they think Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be the 102 pick here. I personally do not think he is. Like, I think Shedeur Sanders has potential. Like, I don't want to act like I think he's a bad player, because there are times when you watch him, he looks really good. But there are a lot of times when his feet are really undisciplined. He's not a great athlete. So if your footwork is not going to be disciplined and you can't make up for that by being somewhat of an above average athlete, which he is not, then that has to be concerning. Has to be a little bit concerning that he played on his dad's team, if we're going to be honest, and still was very undisciplined in the pocket. So it's going to be interesting to see what Cleveland does. Like, they have to do something at quarterback. So yeah, remains to be seen. I don't love Shedeur at 102. Like, I could understand a pick of Shedeur in a late first round or something, maybe in the second round because you're desperate for a quarterback. I can understand those things. I personally like Jackson Dart better, but Shedeur comes with a lot of hype.
That was something else I saw. And Matt, you kind of alluded to it. Schefter was on with Pat McAfee, pretty much saying that he thinks that both the Browns and the Giants could both pass on Shedeur Sanders, which is, and then it ventures to, and we can get into that, like, where does Shedeur go from there? But yeah, I don't know where they go from that point. Makes me rather nervous, especially here in New York. But I think it's going to be Abdul Carter, or I think they're going to go with Travis Hunter, that being the Browns. I think that's the way they're going to go. So I think really when we're talking about the quarterback position here, I mean, we all know Cam Ward's going number 1. I think that's the obvious belief. But I think that the Browns are going with one of those 2 defensive players, in my opinion. So I think it's Shedeur to the Giants or bust. That's my personal opinion. So, but I'm fascinated if the Giants don't take him. Like, where does he fall to?
So my comp for Shedeur Sanders, my ceiling for him, this is how I feel. Like, when he plays well, he reminds me of Jameis Winston. Like, when he plays well. So, is that a guy you want to take at 102, 103?
Probably not. Even though Jameis was already taken towards the top once. But I'm curious for your thoughts on this one, Coach. A guy here on the local radio compared Cam Ward. I know we're talking about Shedeur, but he compared Cam Ward to a Steve McNair. Do you see anything in that? Do you think that that's completely bogus? I didn't hate the call. But do you see any of that in Cam Ward?
Actually, yeah, I don't hate that. Body build, body frame, and stuff is similar. McNair was obviously a little taller, but the arm strength is very similar. I haven't really thought of that as a comp, but that does make sense to me. Like, I do see that. Now, I tend to think McNair was a little better athlete from what I've seen. But arm strength and things like that, like, Ward has the ability. Ward's elite ability is reading RPOs. He's as good as he's better than everybody in this draft at reading RPOs, and it's not close. And that's whether it's a looky slant or it's over the top with the glance and a deeper post. Like, he is really good at that, man. Like, that's the one thing that separates him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see whether that RPO game is going to translate to the Titans because, like we've talked about, there's Calvin Ridley there, and then after that, it's nothing. So I almost expect them to kind of draft someone. They've done well to kind of revamp that offensive line this offseason. So I think that's going to help them moving forward. They obviously need an edge rusher. They need a linebacker. They could use about anything on defense. But Cam Ward's kind of the guy I don't think you can pass on in this draft. He's done a lot to impress. Coach has been on that guy for 2 years in a row now. So shout out to Coach on that one. But I do want to ask the question since Hoff brought it up. Go ahead, Coach. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say was the one thing about being really good at the RPO is the thing that eliminates RPO is man coverage. Like if you can play cover 0 or cover 1, you can play man coverage. You can crush an RPO game. Well, if you don't have receivers that can win against man coverage early and often, then it's a problem. And Tennessee doesn't really have that currently.
Yeah. They need help. Yeah. They need help bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason why they have the first overall pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yeah. They're there for good reason. No doubt. Right. Hoff, you mentioned, Travis Hunter possibly going at the 102 to the Cleveland Browns. I think that if Hunter goes to the Browns or somewhere like that organization is going to want him to be a splash. A defense is already really good. I think Jerry Jeudy is a serviceable wide receiver. He's not someone that I'm relying on as my wide receiver one. I see Hunter playing more offense in that kind of situation and being a guy that comes in and maybe nickel packages or something like that on defense. Let's say that Travis Hunter is a full-time wide receiver. What do you see as him being as a fantasy wide receiver for us moving forward, Hoff?
Well, I'm of the belief that he's going to be more so defensive and have offensive packages. But if you're going to phrase it the other way, and if you're going to tell me that Travis Hunter is playing wide receiver majority of the time, yeah, I think he could definitely do well. I also think it's a big question of who is his quarterback. If they're taking Travis Hunter, then they're not drafting quarterback, obviously, clearly. Unless they do some miraculous trade and get somebody else of relevance at some point. And it's not going to be Deshaun Watson. Do they get Kirk Cousins at that point? That would make me more comfortable. But yeah, listen, you guys are more tuned into the college stuff. That's why I love watching you guys. But I think he could do well there. But I do think it is quarterback dependent. And I'm curious if you guys think he's quarterback dependent or if it's just he's that talented of an athlete. We look at Neighbors last year, playing with, we had Daniel Jones, we had Drew Lock, we had Tommy DeVito, and he still produced. Is Travis Hunter that kind of wide receiver? And I get he's not LSU wide receiver, but is he on that level, Coach? Can he do that without a good quarterback? Because that worries me.
I do think he's a big-time athlete that can be successful at wide receiver. Now, there's no doubt that whether it's the Dynasty draft or regular draft, like drafting Travis Hunter is a scary proposition because you don't really know what they're going to do with him. Like, they can say whatever they want to post-draft and all these things, but until we get in training camp and stuff, you don't really know what they're going to do with him. So that is really scary. Like, where you would draft Travis Hunter in a Dynasty draft right now, like, I think he could be an elite wide receiver. I think he can be an elite corner. I do think he's slightly overrated at corner. But I still think I do think he's the best one, probably. But they make him out like he's the greatest corner that's ever lived, and I'm not sure I see that necessarily. I don't know.
It's a great question of what
Heisman would do that.
Price. Yeah, there's a lot of risk baked into it. I think where he's kind of falling right now at the back end of rookie drafts, towards the end of the first round, sometimes even in the second round, I'm almost interested where I'm going to take that pick every time. And here's my reason why. Let's say he is primary defense and he gets, 30 snaps a game on offense, which isn't unreasonable. Sure. It's pretty reasonable given that he was playing basically 60 both sides of the ball in college. So if he played 60 on defense, 30 on offense, he's only playing 90 snaps. If he gets 5 manufactured touches every single time in those 30 snaps, are you not interested? If your wide receiver gets 5 to 7 targets every single week, I would be interested in that, especially given the elite athlete that Travis Hunter is. I'm similar with Coach, where I think he's a little bit overrated as a corner, but I do think he's the best corner of the class. I think he's the best wide receiver of this class, hands down, if he was a full-time wide receiver. He's an elite athlete with elite ball skills that no one else in this class even comes close to. So I would be very interested to see, even if it's just packages, where you could get him in fantasy drafts, and I would be comfortable with it in dynasties.
So I was really interested. Did you guys see Warren Sapp talk about Travis Hunter and his experience being around him? Like, this is a dude that's seen a lot of guys, and he said he's the freakiest athlete he's ever seen.
Wow.
I mean, that's saying a lot. Yeah, it's interesting because are they going to be forward thinking enough to where the guy can play 30 snaps and then go play defense? Are they really, like, you're going to have an organization that's really willing to do something different than what everybody else is doing?
Do we think, and this, again, we could talk about how good you guys are talking about college athletes and stuff and all that and the dynasty stuff, but just on a general, just like, do we think that's sustainable, that somebody could play on both offense and defense? I mean, to me, I like wear and tear. And also, by the way, he could be, and I'm not saying he's not an exceptional athlete. I'm not saying that he's, talented for days, but when you're a rookie, they talk about coming in as a rookie being hard enough as it is. He's going to play both sides of the ball, and that's going to be sustainable, and he's going to do that on a week in, week out. I find that hard to believe. I mean, it would be phenomenal TV to watch him do it, but, like, do you guys think he can actually do that?
Coach, you want to go first? Matt, you want me to?
Or whoever.
Well, no, probably not long term. I mean, heck, in high school football, yeah, we do it all the time, right?
Right.
But yeah, I don't love the wear and tear involved there. Like, I think it's going to be, if he's playing wide receiver, he's not playing corner. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, to me, he could be primarily a corner that gets 5 to 7 manufactured offensive touches a game. But it can't just be that, right? Because he can't check in the game and get the ball every time. So if he checks in the game,
that's where my head was at, is basically what you just said. That's where I think it's going to go. But
I mean, can he get 20 offensive snaps and get 5 manufactured touches and play corner the whole game? I mean, maybe. I mean, can he? Yeah, but I don't know. A team is going to be afraid to do that, I think.
Right. Because that's also that. By the way, that's an investment. We're talking about him being. We're just saying right now to the Browns, top 2 pick. That's an investment as well. This is how NFL teams look at it. Yep. What's up, Matt? You were going to say something?
I think he can, and the argument for it is that he did it in college, and we've never seen anybody do it like that before.
Sure.
But I do agree that the wear and tear is kind of a new era or a new realm we're going to have to dive into. Of if he's playing 2 times the amount of snaps as everyone else, and he already played 2 times the amount of snaps as everyone else in college, that's a significant wear and tear on his body. And eventually we know that Father Time wins every single time. So he's going to find his way to, eventually come back up and creep up on him and see if there's going to be any sorts of injuries or anything like that. Obviously, we don't wish for that, but it's definitely a balance for whatever team that drafts him is going to have to find a way to incorporate him in both sides of the ball if you're going to do it. Because like Coach said, if he's going to play primarily offense, it makes it a lot harder on defense, just as vice versa if it's the other way around. Because the other thing is he can't be in both meetings at the same time. And I think they even talked about that at Colorado, where he was skipping, I believe, the wide receiver meeting rooms to be with the corners, but he would meet with the wide receiver coach in Shador every single day in the morning before everyone started. And that was his way to kind of do his own meeting. So whatever team drafts him is going to have to completely change their schedule, unlike anything we've really ever seen.
Well, we're also living in a world where he says, if you draft me, you're going to play me on both sides, or I'm not going to play, and I'm going to force my way out of there.
Wow.
That's the world we're living in now. No. I'm saying he could do that. I mean,
All right, so I know you guys both said, and I guess Matt, we can move on after this, because we could probably talk about Shador Sanders the whole show, but not Shador. I'm sorry, Travis Hunter. But so I know you guys both said he's probably a little bit overrated as a corner. Do you think that NFL franchises that are going to draft him are thinking of that in that same mindset? Point being, do you anticipate him playing more snaps on offense or more snaps on defense?
I think they are at least thinking about it because I think you have to. What we know about building a team, and like you said before, there's a reason why all these teams are picking at the start of the draft. They're not very good and they have holes everywhere. Drafting a corner is not necessarily the position to change your franchise. It's a great luxury pick if you can make it, but a common theme among a lot of these teams is they're terrible, whether on the front end, offense or defense or both. And that's what we know is the best way to build teams over time because offensive linemen have a higher hit rate, defensive linemen have a higher hit rate, and they have better successes of signing second contracts with their drafted team. Corners and wide receivers move all the time. And what we know is that I just think that you have to know that if you're taking Travis Hunter at the 102 and whether it's as a corner or a wide receiver, it's risk. And there's risk associated there that you have to figure out. How do you incorporate him on both sides of the ball? How do you use him in packages on either side of the ball? Is it worth taking a corner at the 102? It's a legitimate question in my eyes.
I just don't think you can play corner part-time. Like, if you're going to play corner, you're a corner primarily, and you're part-time at wide receiver.
Sure.
That's would be my experience.
Coach, I also wanted to let you know that the Mets won. So that's
well, I'll tell you who didn't. The Braves. We haven't yet.
Fine, no.
They won't. They won't. No, they won't.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to say
our lineup tonight. Oh my gosh, our lineup tonight.
Well,
oh my god,
I'm not saying tonight. I'm just saying, like I go through my Mets circles on social media, and they go, "Oh, it's so funny the Braves haven't won yet," and I'm like, "Listen, when the dust settles, when this season ends, the Braves will be up there as always. I don't care if they start the year 0-12. It's what they do."
No team has ever started the season 0-7 and made the postseason. It has never been done.
Is that a true story?
Yep. And we're 0-6.
Shit. All right. Oh, okay. No comment. All right. Sorry about that. Never mind.
So that makes tonight a must win.
Apparently it does. In a 162 game season, this one's a must win. Yes. All right.
Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fight statistics.
How poetic. Game 7 must win. There you go.
Oh, anyway. That's true.
That's funny. All right. Well,
Matt, take us to the Giants, Matt. Let's talk about the Giants a minute.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Giants. We kind of previewed it a second ago. We talked about Shador going there. So let's assume that Shador goes number 2. Let's start there. And Shador goes to the Browns. The Giants are on the clock. Hoff, do they take Travis Hunter? Is that the pick? Or do they go with Abdul Carter and get the edge?
No, I believe they go with Travis Hunter. I believe they go with the splash play. Now, I will say, because I walked into this conversation without talking to you guys, just thinking that he would predominantly play defense and then sprinkled in on offensive packages. That was my thought process walking into this conversation. So I thought Giants make a big splash, draft a cornerback. They did a pretty good job at the draft last year. Their defense is not terrible. I think Travis Hunter will be a nice addition there to the secondary. But then I think about what you guys were saying, and you guys will get into this, but, you guys started talking about wide receiver and wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So you already got Malik Neighbors there. You're going to add him there too. If he's as talented as you guys say he is at wide receiver, then that's some kind of wonderful that's got an island of misfit toys throwing him the ball. So I think I'm just going to stick with the philosophy. Travis Hunter will primarily play defense, and I think the Giants, if he's there, they will jump on him. If it's not Shador Sanders available, they will take Cam Ward. Cam Ward, Jesus. Travis Hunter, apologize. Mixed up all my names. I have the board.
So if let's say this. So They don't draft a quarterback. They draft Travis Hunter or whoever. Who's their starting quarterback? Game 1, who starts?
It ought to be Jameis Winston, but I think it's Russell Wilson.
I totally agree.
And I don't want that to be a thing. I'm just being a realist, But
yeah,
that's
why they call you the FF realist.
That's why I made my handle what it is, because I'm just trying to be honest. Unless I'm talking about my Niners, then I'm hopelessly devoted. Whatever.
I think if they do end up, let's say they take Travis Hunter, and they have the pairing between him and Malik Neighbors, that is really enticing. Whatever quarterback's playing, I'm a little bit interested because I think we all know Neighbors is really dang good. And I believe that Travis Hunter could be really dang good too. But I don't want to rule out what Coach said earlier to start the show. I'm not sure if you're in here yet or not, Hoff, so I apologize. But the Giants have the 34th pick. They could easily use that 34th pick, move into the first round, and go get a guy like Dart, go get a Tyler Shuck, or maybe Shador does fall to the 20s. Then they can go get their quarterback and still have the possibility of, all right, we'll put him on the bench, we'll let him learn, whoever it is, start Russ, start Jameis Winston, whoever it's going to be. But then we've got these two studs on the outside, and Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors, and that would be a filthy combo for a young quarterback going forward on a rookie contract.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic. But, I mean, Coach, I'll kind of kick this to you only because, and I was going to bring this up to you guys, another thing I see, talking about the NFL draft, is that apparently Jackson Dart is flying up draft boards at this crazy rate. So, to your point about, the Giants having that early second-round pick, they could trade back in. Is it conceivable if Jackson Dart is driving up the draft boards as people say he is? I mean, that could also be just, smoke and mirrors this time of year. Do the Giants have enough ammunition to go ahead and get a Jackson Dart, Coach?
Yeah, possibly. I think I do. First of all, I do like Jackson Dart a lot. If you want to talk about a guy who is really sneaky athletic, it's Jackson Dart. He's a way better athlete than people realize. Like I would say between him, Cam Ward, and Shador Sanders, he might be the most athletic. That being said, his arm's not as strong. He has plenty strong enough arm. It's just not Cam Ward strong by any stretch of the imagination. So I could see that happening. I don't know if they have enough to be able to go get back and get him. I'm not sure about that. What do you think, Matt?
I think so. I mean, they've got pick 34, they got 65, 99, 105. So that's plenty enough to kind of throw in people's faces. And not to mention that they've got all their picks in 26 and 27. It's just a matter of how high are you going to go. If they're going to fall in and, try and get to that like 109 to 116 range or whatever it's going to be, you're going to have to pay up. It's going to cost your first probably next year. But if you could move the 34th pick and your second round pick next year to go from 34 to 24, would that be worth it knowing you get a fifth year option on whatever quarterback you're going after? I think so. Because what we know is if it turns out well, like you said, the Giants drafted well last year. You've got Tracy, you've got Malik Neighbors, you have Travis Hunter, and you draft this quarterback, you're going to have a rookie deal for 5 years on a team that's kind of got a decent amount of talent for picking third overall.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah, you're right there. I do think there's a real chance the Saints are going to take a quarterback at 9, if possible. That's a real chance. There's a real opportunity there too. So you might have to get way up. Like I saw it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
CBS or somewhere had Shador mocked to the Saints at 9 today.
I could see that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a CBS link open. It must not be updated as to that, but but I could see it too. That was kind of why I was asking you guys that, because I'm hearing that he's just going higher and higher, and so which means, Matt, you were talking about the picks the Giants have. They have all their picks the next couple of years. I think if they want to do that, if they go that route, they are going to have to spend a pretty penny. Mm-hmm. I will just say, just as someone who, again, I know I said I'm a Niner fan, and everybody knows that, but I live in New York. I would love sports media on WFAN, if they had Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Tommy DeVito, they get Travis Hunter, and then they trade back in to get Jackson Dart, that would be just a symphony of just what's going on. I would love it. I would love it.
That's a lot of personality in a quarterback room. Like I don't know if it could fit in the room, to be honest.
AK cannot. No, they have to move their quarterback meetings to the practice center. That's it. That's how that goes.
Any type of first-round quarterback here, it's even more interesting if they draft Shedeur Sanders at 103. Now you've got an interesting thing going on in that quarterback room.
Okay, question for you both now. If they drafted Shedeur at the 103, is there a world where Shedeur does not start at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
It's tough to say, right? I don't see it happening.
I think there's a world where he doesn't start week 1, but I think it's a mistake, and I think it's course corrected rather quickly.
I mean, don't you think Russell Wilson was signed because Russell Wilson's probably going to start week 1?
Yes and no, because I don't think Russell Wilson has the same leverage that he had when he left Seattle. Like, I don't think he could walk into a contract signing and dictate, like, all right, I'm only signing this because I'm starting. They may say, hey, we view you as a starter. You know, you're gonna play it out in camp, but we view you as a starter. But I don't think he has that kind of pull where he's just like, I'm starting, and they say, okay, like, go ahead.
But wouldn't the question be then whether he's going to handle not starting well enough that you want him to be around? You know what I'm saying?
That's a kind of look before you leap in terms of Joe Shane signing him. But yeah, I mean, you're 1,000% correct. Yeah,
right.
Could that become a problem for sure? Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
This is why the Giants should have had off-season hard knocks this year too.
I'm sad they got rid of it, man.
Shit. I would have paid. I remember back in the day when we watched the wrestling pay-per-views, and it was like $35 to watch a wrestling pay-per-view. I would have paid $35 a week to watch Giants Hard Knocks all season. Just to see that
be made.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yep, I would have paid 1,000%. Done. Yeah, but
especially being in the New York media.
I tell you, even though I'm not a Jets and Giants fan, I love living in this area just to hear that. Like the way, even just without Hard Knocks, the way the sky falls every single week. Oh, God, it's great. But I don't know. I personally think if Shedeur's there at 3, I think the Giants take him.
I think so too. Like I find it hard for them to pass on him. I mean, I understand you've got Winston and you've got Russ, but those aren't the answers. They're just Band-Aids for the situation right now. And we know they're going to have to take someone eventually, and whether they trade back into the first, I think that's a viable option. If Shedeur's your guy and you believe in him, then I think you have to take him. You just never know when you're going to be back this high. And, you know, what we do know about Russ and Jameis Winston is they sometimes, whether it's ugly or not, find a way to win games. And when you win games, you get in that middle of the pack, and that's the worst place to be, especially if you need a quarterback. That's right. Jameis is eating those dubs.
Yeah. We're eating those
Give
dubs.
Malik Neighbors 15 targets a week. That's what we want.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Well, let's jump to the 4th pick, guys. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. All sorts of needs. You got the young quarterback solved, so this is going to be probably our first pick where we can start really talking about wide receivers. But before we do that, I want to pose the question to you, Coach, first. Is there a world where the Patriots take Ashton Genty?
Ooh, man. No, I don't think so. I don't think at 104. I mean, I understand there's probably a need there, but no, I actually tend to think they're going to take an offensive lineman myself before they take a wide receiver. Although, Lord knows they need a wide receiver room is pitiful. So Drake May definitely needs some weapons. I just don't know that. I mean, I personally don't think Ted McMillan's good enough to be the 104 pick. That's just me. I know Matt doesn't. Matt's a Matt Golden fan.
That's right. I sure am.
think-
Hoff, what are your thoughts?
I think Pete Nova's a big Ted McMillan fan. I believe. To fact check that. But no, I personally think, and I'll say, my eyes lit up as I was looking at this. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I do think that the Patriots do go offensive line here, offense or defensive line. I think it's offensive line. I think it's the way that they go here. I think after these first 3 picks, I think this is where we start to see things kind of settle a bit. I mean, I think we get offensive line with the 4th pick, and I know we'll get to the Jaguars. I think we get defensive line there. So I think this is where things start to settle in a bit. One thing I was surprised about, and Matt, because you ex-coach about Genty, and I was looking at this, and this is CBS Sports. I have this pulled up here. They have, and I'm not sure when they made this. Give me a date here, guys. What we got here? It was updated yesterday, so maybe they call this April Fools. Maybe they don't. But Genty went number 20 to the Broncos.
Wow.
That can't be real, right?
Man,
that's April Fools.
If Genty is sitting there at 10 and the Bears don't take him, yeah, somebody better call and check on me. So I'm gonna be tore up.
Well, even if the Bears don't take him, which I guess
I might cry real tears.
Real.
I think it would be worth crying, to be honest. I mean, I don't expect Genty to fall to 20. But can you imagine he falls to 20 and then we have to do a show with Pete Nova? Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
It would be unbearable.
I would be banging off sick that day. But I was going to say that if the Bears don't take him, I would think I know the Cowboys brought Devontae Williams and Miles Sanders, but I would think that they would jump on that.
Yeah.
Feels like a Jerry pick.
If the Bears didn't.
If the Raiders don't first.
Okay.
There's a world where the Raiders do it at 6.
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times. I just don't see him going to the Raiders. I feel like it'd be really hard to – I understand that Pete Carroll has a history of taking running backs in the first, and he always has that guy that's his running back. But just with this class, I feel like they can get one later, and they need so many different things that it could really change their team. But I do want to point out
with what we're talking about. Sincere McCormick. Depends on how much they like Sincere McCormick, right?
Yeah, that's totally true. But if you could get Caleb Johnson in the second round, is that fine? If you're getting 85% of Genty's production in the second round, would you take that?
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know, back to the Patriots for a minute, I think this is an interesting trade back spot right here if you're the Pats. If you don't really like Ted McMillan, this is the perfect trade back opportunity if somebody's dying to get up there and get a quarterback.
Well, you mentioned them taking a lineman. Both of you did. If that happens, Abdul Carter going to the 5th pick would be an absolute steal. That'd be the easiest pick the entire night.
Yes. And as a selfish 49er fan, I hope Mason Graham falls. But I don't think he does. So, but yeah,
I have seen some injury rumblings on Abdul Carter that have some people concerned.
Yeah, right. The ankle, right? Correct.
Yeah, and just that he has a history of being injured.
And the shoulder. He had the shoulder last year to close out the year.
Yeah.
I mean, he played with one arm basically in the playoffs.
I saw Todd McShay was talking about how all the edge players in this draft all have there's an issue, there's a but with all of them. Like, he's really good, but he stays hurt. So, I mean, that
McShay, by the way, I was going to say McShay puts on a great podcast. Like, talking about, like, breaking all this stuff down. He does. I've been downloading him quite a bit. But, yeah, he's very good. But
yes,
I don't know. I could see, Coach. I could see the Patriots trading out here. I could see that world. But if they don't, I see them going offensive line. That's what I'm saying. But Matt, you throw the monkey wrench in that that we're ignoring here. If Abdul Carter drops that far, something's got to give at some point. Probably with the Jaguars, I would say.
So you mentioned it a little bit with Ted McMillan being Pete's guy. I know Tyler really likes Ted McMillan too from our crew. I'm with Coach though. I'm not sure he can be a one.
Really quick, what does Tyler think about Daniel Jones? Does he like the?
I think his comment. I think his comment would be no comment. I think right now he's stuck in that quarterback purgatory, which fortunately Coach and I have been members of that committee with both of our NFL teams. Mine just happened to last my entire life. Coach's has been for practically his entire life too, which is like eternity since he's old. But I just think that Richardson and Daniel Jones is a tough quarterback room, man. What are your thoughts, Coach?
It's so bad, right? Oh, it's bad. And I think Daniel Jones is the better of the two. But if you're, I'm sure Tyler, whoever is really hoping and praying that Anthony Richardson can figure it out, because
you have to.
But I don't think it's happening.
I don't think it's happening either.
I would be shocked.
So Matt, I'm gonna give you a golden opportunity here, Matt, to spend like 30 seconds nerding out on an offensive lineman. So if it's the fourth pick, is Will Campbell the guy you would take if you're going to take a lineman here?
I don't think that I'm going to take Will Campbell. I mean, there's the question marks of, can a guy at his arm length survive in the NFL? And the track record is not very good. He's a freak athlete with great tape. And I mean, he played against great pass rushers at LSU. So you kind of say, well, the tape doesn't lie. And I do think that's true. But what we do know is that the NFL edges, the elite ones, they find a way to just make anyone punish with the smallest issue. And as stupid as it sounds, 33-inch arms is a major issue at a left tackle. I think that if they do go offensive line, the better pick would be our Armand Miembo, the left tackle out of Missouri. That guy is just massive. He checks every box. The tape is fantastic. I think he's a plug-and-play guy, and he's going to be a staple in the league wherever the heck he goes. So that's probably the pick I would go if I was drafting a tackle. Outside of that, I don't think either of the Ohio State tackles are going to get drafted that high. You could make a case for Kelvin Banks from Texas. He's a really good athlete, but he's also got a little bit of question mark in his profile. So I think he's someone that slides later in the draft as well. That's my 30 seconds.
Which is what CBS had. They did have Banks, but go ahead, Coach. You go.
So then you're on record saying the tape doesn't lie except for left tackles.
I don't know if I'm on record saying that the tape doesn't lie except for left tackles. I just think it is a red flag in his profile. And it's frankly really the only red flag.
I feel like you had a major Twitter spout with someone over
that was just college tape doesn't matter completely.
That's true.
Don't watch college tape.
That's true.
At all. And you guys can beat around the bush, and I'll just say it's John Frisella, and I've said this on when I've recorded with Anthony. John's got an open invite. He can come on this show. He can tell us all about how he became an NFL insider. He could give us all the bells and whistles. He could even go into why college tape doesn't matter. We welcome him, and if he's on, you guys can join us. You can ask him all the questions you want, but open invite to Johnny. Oh, he won't do it. He's very busy being an insider.
That's true. He's busy. I'm happy to discuss tape and what it means anytime he wants to do that, because frankly, to say what he said is a joke. But if you want to go look it up, you can look it up. It's on RX. It's on HoffSex. It's out there. It's been published. But Coach, to your point, like, am I?
Shit, I might even retweet it after this show. I might even do that. It's probably top of my page for you guys. But go ahead.
Yeah. Timestamp your offer for him to join us too while you're at it.
I definitely will.
I'm with you.
We might have a special guest for the next one. We can talk about these rookies and their film or lack thereof, and if it matters. Because what we care about is metrics, and apparently people being scared if they don't run the 40. I don't know. We can talk about all day.
Right. That's what matters. Screw film. Yep, screw it all.
Speaking of 40 times, how about Cam Scatabo? Woo! If that dude ran a 4.5 if that dude ran a 4.5, he's going a lot higher than people think.
I want him on the Niners. Is that wrong? Is that a bad thing?
No.
I want him on.
I think
everybody
teams
wants him.
want him.
I think that's their answer. That's not the clear answer. There's no clear answer for Deebo Samuel, but I think in terms of using a guy in different ways, and I get it, it's a lot different than using Deebo in different ways. But I think that Kyle Shanahan, if he got his hands on a Cam Scatabo, he could probably scheme up some good stuff.
Well, I think he could use a guy like that.
But
they could use a guy like that to take some wear and tear off McCaffrey too. You know.
All right, yeah, because that clock is ticking. I mean, we talk about the Super Bowl window closing. That running back room, that window's closing too. That's closing fast in the Super Bowl window.
Yeah, you're right. You're
neck and neck, but neck and neck. But yeah.
Listen, I'm going to send you guys a. Go ahead.
No, I'm hoping it's something about. I'm hoping it's something about John Frisello, but I was going to say, assuming Abdul Carter doesn't fall to number 5, and I know we were talking about the picks here. We're kind of going through it. Let's just assume Abdul Carter goes before the 5th pick here to the Jaguars. It's going to be Mason Graham, right?
It feels like a good pick.
Right.
I mean, you could argue, Ted McMillan.
And again, this is assuming Abdul's off the board.
It's probably the safest pick for them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like
he about has to make this pick.
Is it crazy to say Tyler Warren? I know Coach doesn't want to hear that, but is it crazy?
No, I don't. Not at all. It's crazy.
Tell them why, Coach. Tell the people why.
Because it's Brenton Strange season. Get ready. If he's not on your team, he should be. What are you waiting on? You should be offering thirds all day long for Brenton Strange to anyone in your league right now that will give him to you for a third. And there are plenty of people out there that have no idea who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually picked him up in a best ball. Me and Anthony Savino have been doing a couple of best ball drafts, and I've picked up Brenton Strange late. I've done that. And again, best ball drafts.
Great move.
But
love it.
I will say though, in terms of Warren, again, tis the season. We're going to hear a lot of rumors. We're going to hear a lot of stuff. I did hear that the Jets were looking at him. Apparently, he was going to go and visit the area. Jets are picking 7th. You know, is that a reasonable pick in that spot? I mean, I know, Matt. I know you were busting coaches' chops, or maybe you generally meant it that he can go there up there. Is it crazy for a tight end to go this high? That 5 to 7 range.
I don't think it's crazy. And my reasoning for that is because I think Tyler Warren is one of the 10 best players in this entire class. Just overall, he is one of the best football players in this class. And I know Coach has said the exact same thing many times. The guy's just good. Like, he makes plays all over the place. His film is unbelievable. Half the time you're like, how is this guy doing this? Because he does everything from all over the field. And what I know about Jacksonville is they need a ton on defense. They were terrible last year. So is it the right pick? Probably not. But is it a pick that I could see a new quarterback or a new coach who's an offensive-minded guy who wants to really see if Trevor Lawrence has it? And what better way to test that than to give him Tyler Warren and Brian Thomas Jr. and those 2 running backs and Tank and Etienne and just say, prove it. That would be a good argument.
The other thing about Tyler Warren is that the dude can put his hand on the ground and block with the best of them too. Like, that's the thing about him is he can do it all.
And I was going to ask you this, Coach. For somebody who's watching this, who isn't as well versed in college players, coming into the league, a lot of NFL fans, they really don't tap this as far as the college players. So, but let's pretend the novice fan, they see Brock Bowers come in last year and they go, oh my God, this guy's incredible, which he was.
Mhm.
So, Warren, how would you temper expectations as per a Brock Bowers? Is it a completely different player for? I mean, you mentioned the fact that he could just get down a block. We see a lot of tight ends that are great at catching, but not always great at blocking. How would you advertise Warren to somebody who isn't as plugged into college?
Like, I think that's a good question. I do think I would find him in the range of Laporta to Bowers. Like, he's a top 5 tight end when he comes into the league. Now,
Okay.
that's dependent on the system. The Raiders didn't have the greatest quarterback room, but they were going to force feed that dude the ball, Whereas, whether it's Bowers or McBride, like those tight ends aren't moving the needle without a quarterback that can stand back there in the pocket and really play. So if he goes to the Jets at 7, is Justin Fields good enough for that to even matter as far as wins and losses go? I would say no. But I also personally think there's a world where they go find they find a quarterback in this draft too in the first 2 days, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
I know they said Justin Fields is QB1. Well, that's fine until they draft somebody else who sits behind Justin Fields for 3 weeks before he plays.
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
could see a quarterback going to New York.
No, I could see it too. I know Steve D'Angelo, who does this with us. He's probably the biggest Justin Fields truther that we know. He's probably putting on a Justin Fields onesie and hopping into bed right now. But I'm kidding, Steve. But I'm not kidding. But I would personally, I would like to see him actually get a shot wire to wire over the course of a full NFL season. Granted, not as a quarterback of my team. I would just like to see him get a shot.
He had a shot.
He did have a shot. Yeah.
I watched
with your Bears.
Yeah, he had multiple shots. So bad.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm going through cards with my son the other day. 25 different rookie cards of Justin Fields that I have. 25. Oh, what a waste that was.
Gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us, guys.
Yeah, it's time to sign off.
Been a good show.
Let's talk about Genty. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's a good headshot. That's good.
What's going on with these angles?
Pete must have heard us talking about Genty to the Broncos, and that's why he came on. Like his ears were ringing. He got out of bed. That must have been what happened.
What's going on in here?
Hey, man, did you throw a ring on that finger or what?
It's not on me, but I did.
What a dick.
Oh my God.
It's upstairs. Dude, I get all sweat. It's a silicone one until I get like a good one. It gets all sweaty and stuff when I work out. So I took it off.
Oh.
Excuses.
All right, Pete.
There's nothing wrong with that. Come on,
like
Matt, you're not even married. You don't even know.
Who
He
me?
was.
I know.
Matt.
I know much more than you, my friend. I know much more. What do I do for a living? I know.
That's actually.
I was married. Bought that T-shirt. Burned that T-shirt. That's it. Never again. No mas.
Enough about us.
What did you make sure to say?
Pete, I'm on your side here, Pete. I am married. 18 years actually.
See, there you go. Coach gets it.
It is possible.
Right. As long as your wife's not an asshole, then yeah, you could do that.
It's still a challenge every day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not really. I'm joking.
Well,
he's not joking.
All right.
He's looking at his wife right now.
No.
Is that it? Did I make the ending here? You guys finished?
No. We'll keep talking. Or at least I will.
No, you're good. wanted to pop in.
Well, let's hear it, Pete. You ready? I got question 1, Pete, for you. You ready? Is there any world where the Jets take a quarterback in round 1, whether it be at 7 or they get back in and take one?
No, I think
That's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
I feel like the Fields move was just a hedge for next year, though. I don't think they do it. I could see I don't think round 1. I don't think so. If it happens, will I be surprised? No, but I just feel like the Fields contract sets up perfect to be a 1-year deal, and if they just want to move on, they move on. I honestly don't like Fields, but I feel like it really was the best that they could have done, in my opinion. Do you agree, or?
It's probably the best Fields could have done too, given the opportunity.
Well, obviously, Coach doesn't agree because he's just.
I know.
Well, I am a scorned Fields hater, so it's not very. I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. Like, I'm
not a big Fields guy, so I get it. I'm just.
I personally would rather take a chance on Jackson Dart now. I'm gonna say this though: Fields is a really good leader. His teammates really love him. Like, he has a lot of great qualities that if he could figure it out and be okay, and they could run the ball and play great defense, then he could be serviceable. You know what I mean? But I don't think
he's all he needs to be there, though. But that's the thing with Fields, with the Jets at least. Like, he doesn't need to be this.
Can he play better?
This crazy talent.
Can he play better than Rodgers?
Different kind of quarterback, but I think I think the offense is going to be a lot tuned up more so for what they want Fields to do as opposed to what Rodgers could do. Like, it's two different kind of, even at that stage of his career, we're talking about two completely different quarterbacks between Rodgers and Fields.
Well, I've said this 100 million times, and Matt's heard me say this repeatedly. Like, if Fields is going to be your starter, then you need to be prepared to have him run the ball on design running plays 10 to 15 times a game. If you're not going to do that, then he's not going to be successful. And if you do that, then be prepared for him to get injured. So, I mean, you got to be ready for both of those two scenarios, right? You do. And
no, I agree. It's the same thing with Anthony Richardson, though.
Right, 100%.
Go with this now.
I mean, if you're not going to use Anthony Richardson's strengths, then what? You got to have him run this set up to pass. Like, I know it sounds weird.
I'm still getting Reddit comments on that.
Like you need to give him some plays like that to get. I mean, he's not going to grow as a drop back passer like that. Like, it's just not.
If you weren't gonna run Anthony Richardson, you shouldn't have drafted him.
I agree.
I mean, it's really only Richardson's second year. I mean, if we really break down the numbers and if we apply that same math to Justin Fields, who has 50 career starts and 66 possible games, it's really only year 4 for him. Yeah. It's not year 4.
Now, wait a minute. How many starts has he had? How many starts has he had?
50 in his career.
Don't worry about it.
Because I feel like Hoff said I'd like to see him get a chance.
Well, no, I'd like to see Justin Fields get a chance. Anthony Richardson, no.
That's what I'm talking about. He's had 50 starts.
He has had a chance.
All right.
50 starts.
All right. Checkmate.
It's actually a little less than 50. That's 50 games he's played in. So it's closer to like 40 starts. But close enough.
Wait, actually, Matt, I have a question for you just before we move on. Because we talked about the whole debacle about college shape doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say that to an Anthony Richardson guy when all he wants to talk to you about is his days in Florida?
They were bad too.
My take on that was Coach and I were very vocal. We were both very vocal that Richardson was terrible at Florida. Terrible.
It was
the fact that he was drafted that high.
It was the combine that put him where he was.
It's a throw. It's the second time we've done it. It was a throw. One.
I'm going to say this, and we have been wrong about plenty of things. We were two people that were right there saying Anthony Richardson was bad before he ever took a snap, that he should never have been drafted where he was drafted, and that he was not a good quarterback.
Well, that's why. That's why I think. That's why I think Milroe's not going to get first round. I think if what happened to Richardson
Ooh.
didn't happen, some team would have taken a shot on Milroe first round. I think teams are finally starting to wisen up a little bit because of the debacle with Richardson. Who else was recently was like a mobile
Trey
tools and
Lance.
Trey Lance,
Trey
right? With Trey Lance and Richardson, right? Like I feel like I mean,
49 legend.
would you be shocked? Like, I mean, those guys, Milroe, I mean, maybe Trey Lance showed a little bit more, but that was what, D2, right? Wasn't he D2? He went to play
Yeah,
No,
he
he's
was-
an
and that was-
FCS player, Division I AA, national champion.
Right, that,
And
yeah.
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And it
So
was
Well,
one
I
season.
feel like Milroe would have been a first rounder if
Milroe also had a really terrible Senior Bowl and a really bad combine too.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
So, is it safe to say that it was basically the combine that put Anthony Richardson where he was at in terms of the
100%.
draft?
And his
Yeah,
pro
right?
day.
It's the exact same thing that
That's
got Zach
pro day,
Wilson
pro day,
drafted
too.
so high.
Pro day.
I think Richardson
One
could have had a
really,
chance
really
to go
good
first
pro.
round though before the combine. I still think he
You
had
say
a
Zach
chance.
Wilson? You're right.
Well,
Maybe not
Just
that
not that
high,
high,
at
though.
first, but
not that high. Sure.
I think a team maybe would have taken a chance on him. But it's hard to
I-
say. I mean, if we're just assuming if they didn't get measured, like, I don't know.
This tale is as old as time, man. It is. And I feel like if a team reaches on Milroe in the first round, you're just asking for it. And maybe this will come back to bite me, but Trey Lance, man,
Thank
Zach
God
Wilson.
for Brock Purdy.
Justin Fields.
Well, Zach Wilson, same story. Like,
Thank God for Bo Nix, too, actually, while we're at it.
And Zach,
yeah,
Zach Wheeler too.
well, yeah, well, okay. Yeah,
That guy's fucking good.
he is fucking good. I hate you. The Mets won though. No, that throw Zach Wilson had that BYU pro day right across the field. Pete, actually, real quick, Pete, do me a favor.
Off.
Pete, coach about the Braves, quick.
I know he doesn't want to talk about them as soon as we talk about the Phillies and the Mets. But they are beating the Dodgers. They are beating the Dodgers, so you know.
Hey,
right now,
you need a win.
Is that a
It's
real
must
thing?
win. Pete.
To up
It's a
to
must
low.
win.
Pete,
No, but
did you know this is a Pete? Did you know
Yeah,
this is a
you
must
missed-
win?
Who said
but
that?
Pete, you missed
Huh?
this.
Me.
No, Pete. No, listen. to
Me.
this.
Ready?
This
Are
is
you
a
ready?
must-win? Okay.
No
ready?
team has ever begun the season 0-7 or worse and made the postseason.
In baseball?
Yes,
Wow.
never happened.
That's it. So it's a must. It's a must win.
Biggest game of the year, right
162.
We have
do they
scored
play
2
the biggest
runs.
game this early.
We have scored 2 runs. That in itself is a miracle. We're batting 142.
You
on the
guys will be
season.
fine. You guys will be
Stop.
fine. It's the Braves. You'll be fine.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as the Mets
why,
begin
like-
the Mets,
Bro, the Braves are so shot right now. It's not even funny. I'm
But
sorry,
I'm
Coach.
just
You
saying,
guys
like,
are fucked. They need to
right,
tread water until Acuna comes back and hope to God that he is like 80% of the fucking guy that he was before he got hurt. They just lost Ronaldo Lopez.
no,
and
for the
Profar.
2 months, probably.
And
Profar.
And Profar.
And then
I will
don't
say I
even
have a
know-
bunch of Mets
I don't
fans.
even think I
We need-
saw fucking. Aren't they dealing with injuries to what's his face at third base? Is he
Riley?
What?
No, he's playing.
Austin Riley? He's healthy?
He's
Yeah,
playing.
he's healthy.
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay. I saw he wasn't.
But
in
I
the
have a
lineup
bunch of
for
Met
that.
fans coming up
We
to me
need
making
Spencer
fun of
Strider
that. They'll be
back.
like,
Spencer Strider will be back next week, probably. That helps.
Well, don't let him pitch in
Yeah.
Philly. You know he gets nervous there.
here we go with this.
So, all right. So, I'm going to read these names out to you. Ready? This is our.
It's probably because he eats
Bro,
those gangly
Ready?
cheesesteaks.
This is 5 through 9. Tell me if you know who these people are. De La Cruz,
Yes.
Nick
From
Allen,
Miami. Don't know Nick Allen.
Fairchild.
From the Reds, Stewart. I know Stu.
He's horrendous.
He's terrible.
Eli White.
Don't know him. Don't know.
Chadwick Trump. Trump.
Don't
No,
know.
Do you sound?
that's 5 through 9.
Do you sound
Hey, I
like
hit Super
WWE
Five.
developmental guys? That's what these sound like.
Yeah, they're on.
The only reason I know is because I play in a deep NL only league in fantasy, so like it like helps me out. You guys.
I'm impressed. You know Stuart Fairchild, because I had no idea who he was today till I saw him in our lineup.
My dad's a Reds fan. He played for the Reds for a while.
Yeah, I know. I looked him up after I saw it.
And Stuart Fairchild was like Stuart Fairchild was like the last chick at the bar in our fantasy baseball league last year. There's like nobody left because it's NL only, and you're just looking for a body to throw out there that's even playing. And he's always the guy. People would pick him up for a week, drop him, get him back in.
Just go Stu.
Just good for one night kind of thing.
Oof. If that. All right. There you go. Braves up 2-0 right now. Top second.
Did you guys hit everything that you wanted on this show?
All right, man.
Say hi to Zach.
We said hi to Zach like 3 times.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll say it one more time. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
How's it going, man?
It is the name of Kings.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We had I don't think these guys got through everything they wanted to get through. Yeah, that's me from my video yesterday.
What happened? What was this show even supposed to be?
Just going through the start of the draft, talking about fantasy players that can be drafted.
Which really we went through.
Showed up.
Yeah, you're on the first pick.
No, we're not.
We're just flashing for the order, Pete. We're talking about who could be drafted, not who is.
We got through like 6, 7.
Wait a minute. I want to fast forward because I'm in North Carolina. Who are the Panthers taking at 8?
Well, fuck you. I want to know who the Niners are taking, Coach. You're supposed to tell me. Who the Panthers?
Tyler Warren.
I think they might take a defensive guy. Everybody wants offense, but
yeah, you're probably right.
I can see them going defense.
Niners are taking a linebacker.
I could see them taking one of them safeties, Malachi Starks or Nick Imomori.
Jade Barron, maybe. I could see Jade.
Yeah, Jade Barron. Yeah, that would be a good one too.
Barron and Horn, 2 solid corners. You could shut down that side of the field.
Campbell's going to the 49ers, so get ready for that.
Jihad?
No.
Yeah.
No way. You think he's gonna get picked that high?
Yes.
No.
Jihad
really?
Or Will Campbell?
I thought he's talking about Jihad.
I am talking about Jihad Campbell to 11 to the Niners.
Well, if you said Will Campbell, I'd believe it. I just
Braves up 3-0 now.
I hate taking off-ball linebackers so high.
It's early, I get it, but it would be nice pairing with Fred Warner. I'm just saying. You got 2 guys in the middle that know where they're supposed to be.
I remember Chris Paul Jr. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, that's like I wanted to go to Denver so bad. I think he's going to be really solid. He's good middle linebacker. I think he's going to go like late day 2, early day 3.
So what you guys were saying, that's why I could see the Niners going linebacker at 11, because I said it before. I said it to Pete because Pete was the lucky recipient of Dre Greenlaw. The biggest loss of this offseason for the 49ers was Dre Greenlaw, because there were losses that they had where they said, all right, like we've got this guy. Like he's not as good, but we've got this guy. Dre Greenlaw was a loss where they weren't like, well, we've got this guy. That was one of the losses where it was like, there was no backup plan for that. So that's why I could see them going linebacker there at their 11. I could see it. So, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Just
who do you want the Niners to take?
I am not even. I mean, I think defense right now. I think defense is where I would go. You could say offensive line, but no, I want defense, and I think Robert Saleh is going to ask for defense, and I think they're going to grant him that wish. So, I'd be fine with the linebacker. It's fine with me. I'll take it. I'll take that.
Will the Bears get
told
Ginty?
you in my pipe dream is that every team from 5 through 10 falls into a coma and doesn't take Mason Graham. That's my pipe dream. That's the kind of world I want to live in.
Tape doesn't
what,
lie,
Pete?
man. He's not good. He's scared.
You shouldn't watch tape. That's your first problem. God damn it, Matt.
Tape's
you know
overrated,
this.
bro.
Don't watch college tape. Don't. Pete,
You're
for the
right.
second time, I put down I invited John Frisella to the
Oh,
show.
good. I hope Johnny
Yeah.
comes, man. Love to see him. Did you see James Cook is put his house on the market?
Ooh,
Did he really?
that's a statement. Did he unfollow the team on Instagram?
No, we're not
That's
at that
very
stage
important.
yet. That's next. Hey, Ray Davis,
Very
wheels up.
important.
Wheels up.
Would you
Wheels
pay
up for
James
Ray
Cook?
Davis.
Love white Ray Davis. What?
Would you
God
pay
damn it!
James
Why are you
Cook?
sending me? Why are you sending me Scatterboo fucking highlights for? God, I want that guy.
Who?
Watch that play. How many players
man.
score on that play?
I'm
It's a great
watching that
question.
play. I'm watching. That
Scatterboo
play.
reminds me a little of Leonard Fournette. I don't know why.
Man. Like a
What?
like
No.
a fucking
see it.
fat kid wants cake.
He's a better. You don't
Pass
think
catcher,
so?
yeah.
Like
He's
a
a
fat
better
kid
all-around
wants cake. I
athlete.
want Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you
Better
see
athlete.
the dude? Did you see him go to wide out and win on the deep ball? Fournette never would have done that. Never could have done that.
I guess that's fair.
But is he this guy?
No,
God.
don't just. Oh, here we go with this.
Woo.
Anyway, so yeah, good times. What we got? Top of the second, Braves got the bases loaded.
Wow,
One
this
out.
this is getting big for you guys.
Man,
Coach,
we're,
tune
in,
we're
man.
saving our season tonight.
Is it time? Should I bet on the Dodgers live right now?
It's a great time.
I would.
Well, no, because betting on them live now won't change much. I'd rather see if they hit runs in or not here. It's not going to go up or down that much. Like they're only plus
Mets won,
240 with the
That's very
bases
important.
loaded. How much would
Pete,
they
the Mets
drop
won, though.
down 3?
Be
Yeah,
nice.
fuck. Good for the Mets, dude. They beat the fucking Marlins down to the fucking wire with the Marlins.
Now, the Braves have
Hey,
played the Padres
it's a
and the
win.
Dodgers. Right. There is that. But not
Yes,
the
no, that
Marlins.
is true. That is true. 100%. Not the
But now we
fucking
have the
Sure.
Marlins this coming. We have the Marlins this weekend.
Yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
man, they play
could beat up-
tough.
They could beat up on some teams.
They're a scrappy Marlins team. I'll tell you that right now. Just
Oh,
went
shut
to a 3-game series.
The Nationals are better, honestly, in my opinion. I
No,
actually
they
like,
are. They
I
are.
like the Nationals team.
Well, the Nationals always do this. They're like what the Marlins used to do. They would sell everything away and then get a ton of prospects and all of a sudden get good. Like that's
Stop. Pete interviews one Nationals pitcher. Now they're a better team. I like the Nationals.
Then the Marlins? We're talking about the fucking Marlins. They're not that good. First
He's
of all,
got
the
one in
Nationals,
for the Nationals.
the Nationals made the trade with the Dodgers. They gave up Turner and Scherzer. They got C.J.
Guy
Abrams in a deal. Who Abrams is good.
interviews one big leaguer. That's
Abrams
it,
is
man.
good.
Tell you what.
They have Mackenzie Gore, who was a good pitcher in the pipeline from the Dodgers. Mackenzie Gore had a fucking great game. He struck out 13 batters against Philly opening day.
Here we go.
Come on, show a little respect. Kyber Ruiz looks good. He's one of the hottest hitters right now, a catcher. I have him in fantasy.
Coach, you should have seen.
So wait.
You,
Wait. They're 1-5, and you're sitting here defending how good they are.
No, they have a solid young core, is my point. I mean, who the fuck did the Marlins have? Otto Ruiz? Do you even know who the fuck that is?
They had
they
some
have
pitchers at
Alcantara.
one
They're
point.
doing all right.
Alcantara.
Yeah, Sandy. He
Who-
fucking had
who's-
Tommy
who's-
John.
Who's probably going to be a Met by August? Don't worry.
Everybody
about that.
has Tommy John. That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's like how you're cool now.
We got like 2 high
Yeah,
school pitchers with Tommy John.
Coach, you should have seen how many dirty looks I got at Pete's wedding when I was getting shots at Jack and I was watching the Met game from the bar. They were like, "What the fuck? Like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing here?" Because they were all like Phillies fans. They were like,
Who lets you
What
in?
the-
You're the wedding
"Hey,
crasher.
what the hell are you watching?" I was like, "No, don't worry about it. I'm cool here. It's fine. It's gonna be okay."
Should have jumped in.
It's funny. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. All
Like,
right,
it's crazy.
well,
the Braves are
yeah,
the Dodgers are only plus 180 with the Braves have bases loaded down 3-0, and they're still only plus 180.
They know what's about to happen.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Matt loves all this baseball talk. I tell you,
I do.
Man, I hate
Matt
Big
hasn't said a
baseball
word
guy.
in about 15
Matt,
minutes.
you're gonna learn, dude. You're gonna learn.
You could be
Bro,
a Met fan.
the only
man.
thing that I'm going to learn is that a 1-5 team is
Oh,
not
wow.
the guy. It's not the move.
Dude, that's why
But
you're not
this
a
is
fan
the
of
year
them.
that my Atlanta Braves win it all.
You're a Braves fan now?
First,
I thought you were a
first
Dodgers
team
fan.
ever to go 0-7 and make the postseason. Lock it in right now.
Well, we're gonna win tonight. 1-6, 1-6, and we're still in it. Pete's getting shout outs in the comments. Like
Who?
we haven't got but one comment in an hour and 20 minutes, and Pete gets on here. And he's got a shout
Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it.
Hello,
Always
Debbie.
count.
All right. Well, Pete, you bring us out of here. Shut it down.
You want me to shut down? This isn't even my show.
Yeah, you're back.
Shut it
You're
down.
back. So we're making you do it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I don't know what was really discussed on this show, but I'm sure it was some good content, and we'll see you.